CGTN, and I'm in Jerusalem today. Specifically, I'm in the old or ancient city of Jerusalem, and more specifically, I'm in the Muslim quarter of the ancient or old city of Jerusalem. And what I'm going to do is talk to you today about where I am, the history here, why I'm here, some tensions that are on the rise in this area, the Muslim holy month of Ramadan, and just show you around, or rather Gil, who is standing behind the camera today, is going to show you around a little bit around the old city. So first of all, let me talk to you about where I am. As I said, I'm in the Muslim quarter of Jerusalem. Jerusalem's old or ancient city. It's a walled-off city within the city of Jerusalem, and it dates back to the 11th century before the Common Era. The city is divided into four quarters. This is the Muslim quarter, which is the biggest quarter, the most populated quarter. Tens of thousands of Muslims live here. The Jewish quarter, Christian quarter, and the Armenian quarter. Now, all of that within this city, the whole city is less than 1 square kilometer in terms of its radius or its size. And the holiest sites in the world to Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, are right here in this city, which, as you might imagine, can be a great thing. It can also be a great cause for tension between the various religions, various people of the different faiths. I'm going to give you a little background about where I am right now. So I'm on the cusp right now of what it would be the Christian quarter and the Muslim quarter, and Gil is going to show you some of the sites. This is the Christian, this is a church, and what he's showing you is what's called one of the stations of the cross. That means that is a station. This is station number 4, when Jesus was bearing his cross on the way to being crucified. This is one of the places where he stopped. This is where, when Christian pilgrims walk through the old city, they stop here, they pray at these various stations where Jesus was. Now, if we continue walking along, we're heading now to the Muslim, like deeper into the Muslim quarter. And this is a main thoroughfare. That's okay. And a lot of bustle, hustle bustle. Tourism has returned. Also a lot of security. Gil is showing you, those are Israeli police. Those are police that are stationed here because, as I said, with the three religions, and specifically during the Muslim holy month of Ramadan, tension tends to erupt here in the old city. So we saw only a few people, or a few police or border police here, but there are many, many more. And I'll just show you, Gil, show them that just look at the network of cameras up here. Those are surveillance cameras, and this is at the spot of also a hospice, an Austrian hospice. The surveillance cameras, that's just one example of the, I'm sorry I don't have the numbers, but that is one of a tremendous network of surveillance cameras here throughout the old city, again lending to the tensions. Now, let me refer to my notes. Let's see here. We talked about the Muslim quarter, the demographic, tens of thousands of people living here. Today is the start of the Ramadan holy month in Islam. The holy month of Ramadan is a time where Muslims pray, they reflect, and they fast from sunrise to sunset every single day for 30 days. So right now is the first day of fasting, and generally it's a tough day. It's the first week, people say, when they start fasting for Ramadan, it's a tough week. There's no drinking, no eating. They break the fast in the evenings with their families, with their friends at a meal called iftar, and then they attend prayers after that at the Al-Aqsa Mosque, which is right around the corner from here, and it is Islam's third holiest site, the mosque. But now let's take a look at some of the things that people are selling here, buying here for the holy month of Ramadan in the Muslim quarter of the old city. So I'm going to take you along. And Gil, if you don't mind just showing like the fairy lights or the twinkling lights, this is huge for Ramadan. People hang these outside their homes. They hang them outside their stores at nighttime in this old city. As you can you see the lights strung up here behind you, Gil? These are all lit up above us, and they are. It's actually quite beautiful to see all of these lights on, but it's not nighttime yet, and so we can't give you the full effect. Another big thing that people buy during Ramadan for breaking the fast, for the sharing the evening meals, are sweets, and we're going to go show you some sweets, some of the traditional sweets that people eat at their breakfast meals. And you can see how many twinkly lights, how many of these fairy light stores that there are. So these guys are serving up, or they're selling a variety of different treats. A baklava, traditional. You know, the guy here told me what this is called, and I can't remember, but this specifically is this is made once a year at Ramadan. It's called katayef. And we're going to show you, this is specifically a Ramadan treat. They're making it right here in the kitchen. Do you guys mind if we show the katayef, how he makes it? It's okay to show how you're making it? So you see, it's like a pancake.
These students have egg.
And we're back. We got cut off. Apologies for that. So we're going to pick up where we were. One of the traditional things that people eat during that iftar breakfast meal is something called ketayef. And these guys, Gil is closing up on it for you now to look at. And it's a pancake with nuts that are rolled on the inside. And this guy here is making ketayef, as you can see inside this store. So he's making the pancakes. How many of these do you sell every day? How many do you sell? Like, how many ketayef do you sell for one day? Like hundreds. Like hundreds and hundreds. How many do you make? Huh? 100 kilos per day? No, really? All right, so I didn't catch his name, but the guy who's over here making them said they sell 100 kilos of these a day. And if you look at them, they're not heavy. So that's how much they sell just here in Jerusalem. In this shop, you have to consider that there are shops all over the place, all over in the West Bank, in Jaffa, in different areas where people sell the ketayef. So 100 kilos for one store sounds like a huge number, but all right, let's carry on beyond the sweets and just give you a visual overview. I talked about the tension because and the fact that it tends to boil over in Ramadan. Now you're just seeing people walking through, buying, shopping. Gil's going to show you the Israeli flags that are hanging up on that wall right ahead of us. That's an archway within the Muslim quarter. That's a point of contention. That's because this is the Muslim quarter. So why would there be Israeli flags in East Jerusalem? And that's something that's bothersome to the Muslim population. And what that signifies is that some Jews have bought the property there. They've hung Israeli flags. It's a show. It's a power play, if you will. It's a show of ownership, and it's resented. Why do tensions generally boil over here? And they certainly boiled over last year here during Ramadan. It's because of that. I talked about the Al-Aqsa Mosque, which is just around the corner from here. I would take you there to show you the mosque, but non-Muslims are not allowed into the mosque or compound on Fridays or Saturdays. So I can't go up there today. But it is, again, hundreds of thousands of people come to pray during Ramadan, just over Ramadan, to the Al-Aqsa Mosque. In terms of the rules that govern the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and we'll keep walking to sort of just show you around, Israel controls who enters the mosque, but Jordan controls the mosque compound, inside the compound. Well, last year, because there was tension here in East Jerusalem between Palestinians and Israelis, protests erupted at the mosque, and in those protests, hundreds of Palestinians were injured. Israeli police stormed the compound, stormed the mosque, fired rubber bullets and tear gas onto worshippers. What happened was that escalated. That went on for several days during Ramadan. It escalated, and then people who were obviously very angry, Muslims throughout, Palestinians living in the West Bank, Palestinians living in Gaza, Arabs who are Muslim citizens of Israel, basically protests broke out throughout the West Bank, Gaza, inside of Israel. It spread, and then eventually, because these protests kept happening at Al-Aqsa Mosque, Gaza, Hamas and Islamic Jihad said that they were protecting Al-Aqsa Mosque, and they fired rockets on Jerusalem. And then erupted basically what led to a full-scale war between Israel and Gaza. So that's the history of a year ago during Ramadan. And the concern, of course, is that this would repeat itself this year. Hence the security, high alert. Israel's police, border police, intelligence, counterintelligence units, and the army are on high alert. They've bolstered their numbers of forces in Jerusalem, around Jerusalem, throughout the country, and that's also because leading up to the Ramadan holiday, the intelligence community is getting reports of possible getting reports of possible attacks. There have been several attacks now leading up to Ramadan inside of Israel of Muslims that have attacked within Jewish communities inside of Israel, killing 11 Israelis within the period of 1 week. And the concern is that's going to continue, and then during the holy month of Ramadan. So what we'll do now is just take a little bit more of a look around in the Muslim corner. Just walk around and show you what's happening. There's more as more sweet that we Khad al-Arus. Okay, thank you. I'm ready if you guys are. Beijing, I'm ready to go if you are. Journalist friend of mine, which is happening. There are a lot of journalists here right now today because with the start of Ramadan, I talked about the tensions and about the latest violence. There's a lot of focus on that. Back at the sweets, I mean, why not, right? Just one that I said, I didn't know what this was called. It's called Khad al-Arus. And, you know, if you see all the people coming in, these are all people coming in to buy these sweets for the holiday. It's actually quite nice. If you don't mind adding another 10 kilos to your frame, which I thank you very much. So I'm going to go around this way. I'll go around this way. And that's it. I mean, we're walking through the Muslim quarter. Again, we'll show you just a little bit of. Why don't we just show some people that are out and about? Again, like I said, there are a number of tourists, a lot of tourists, because tourism has opened up again as COVID has somewhat abated. The numbers are high, as we all know, but in Israel they're allowing tourists to come back in. We're back where we started. So generally, if things get tense or violent here, it happens in the evenings. After the evening prayer, which is after the meal, after people break their fasts. You know, what we understand from the Palestinian Authority, from the Israeli government, the Israeli police, they don't want to see an escalation. Last year there was some provocation. They don't want to see an escalation. It's going to depend on what happens with community members, let's say people within the Jewish settler community, whether they insist on going up to the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound, which is something that, especially during Ramadan, creates a tremendous amount of friction between Palestinians and Israelis. And we will be here. We're going to be coming back to we'll be coming back to Ramadan Kareem. We'll be coming back to the Ramadan Kareem, which means that's a greeting for Ramadan, which means basically have a good Ramadan or happy. I'm not sure happy Ramadan is the exact translation. I apologize for not knowing what the exact translation is. But it's a greeting that you give to people who are observing Ramadan. So back to us, we will be here. We will be updating from the old ancient city of Jerusalem, keeping an eye on what's happening with the security situation, if tensions start to escalate between the two sides. And our sort of brief overview in this section of the Muslim quarter, and I hope you enjoyed it. Ramadan Kareem to anyone out there who is observing Ramadan. And thank you. And again, Stephanie Fried for CGTN, and I'm signing off from the Muslim quarter of Jerusalem's Old City.